Yeah, the
Is that
black.
all right?
I don't give a shit about the background. You look fine.
Oh,
You look fine, girl.
you look all right.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Okay, watch me pull a
Why
cutting
not?
point right here. Hi, everybody. I'm JT Everhart. I run the blog What Would JT Do? With me today is Andrea Desky. Is that correct?
Desky.
Desky. That was my next
Desky.
guess.
That's
All right.
right.
Hi, I'm J.
Ahoy!
We'll just leave that in. I'm okay looking like an idiot. Andrea Desky. And Andrea runs the Pasta Foundation, Pasta being an acronym for.
People for the advancement of spaghetti tolerance and appreciation.
Excellent.
Pasta.
Tell us a little bit about the Pasta Foundation.
Sure. Well, I guess the Pasta Foundation was conceived when uh, there has been an overwhelming response to all of the Pastafarian activism in the media spotlight, particularly Nico Alm in Austria that began in 2001 to wear his colander on his head as religious headgear and his driver's license photo.
Mm-hmm.
So that has just spawned a lot of headstrong headgear
Headstrong. Why do you think there is
activists.
opposition to him wearing the colander and not to wearing, say, a yarmulke? Not yarmulke. The Jewish headpiece. The name is escaping me at the moment because it's early.
Yeah, yarmulke. That's
Yarmulke.
right.
Okay.
I come from a Jewish background myself.
Okay.
Mhm.
So if sincerely held
Mhm.
beliefs are the grounds for getting exemptions to these type of laws,
Sure.
why the resistance to one and not the other? Did that offend
Well,
you?
it really comes down to the government recognizing the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster as a true religion and paying heed to the call that our beliefs are sincerely held. And a lot of that is the basis of founding the Pasta Foundation to begin with, so that we could really spread this message and raise awareness and educate the masses about what Pastafarians are as a culture and as a community and what our intentions are, and that it is something that we truly believe and stand behind. All right, we're back.
Through Pastafarian magic, and because the internet in either North Carolina or Kansas sucks ass, we're now inside with Andrea Desky. The question that I was in the middle of asking when the internet crapped out, clearly God wants us to fail. That fake God wants us to fail. What do you hope to achieve by receiving IRS recognition for Pastafarianism?
And I just had the most profound answer to that question
It was the
that's now
greatest
just
song in the world.
floating around in the tubes of the internets as we speak. But I was saying something along the lines of for tax exempt status for us as a foundation, I think it'll really just help us uh, to reach our goals, to further disseminate the message, to travel, to produce more media content, to continue to do what we're doing. All of our efforts and our hard work and this team that's building around spreading the message of the flying spaghetti monster having tax exempt status and being able to do the fundraising that we need to really achieve this and make the biggest impact possible is the ultimate goal of this.
And I imagine part of it too is being recognized. It's not so much about the not paying taxes, but about being recognized as a religion, a legit religion on par with, say, Christianity or Islam in the eyes of the government.
Well, of course, absolutely. And just the fact that we're having this interview right now and that this has prompted a series of questions around the nature of what we're doing is exactly what we're doing. We're raising these points to the community, and people are reading into it and asking these questions. And I think that's a really positive thing.
Okay, let's look at some other reader questions here. Here's one. Once established, what's to prevent someone who takes it seriously, as I imagine
Mhm.
every follower of your religion does, to start their own Pastafarian congregation and start fleecing people?
Well, that has that's been a question that's been raised often. I will say, well, first of all, I'll say that we're not filing as a church itself. We're filing as a foundation in support of the church. So having this status, it shouldn't alter the worldview of what it is that we're doing as Pastafarians. You had a really good point and said that what's stopping any from religion from running with this. I'll say that if you go against the foundations of what Pastafarian is based on, that it's positive, it's doing good for the world. If you're creating your own set of rules and dogmas, then it's no longer Pastafarianism, and it shouldn't be recognized as such.
Right. I imagine like the issue there is the door has already been opened to people using this to fleece the people, not by you, but by the megachurch Christian pastors who are already doing it. And as long as the door is open, why shouldn't it also apply to your religion?
And I think
Who
that the
presumably
reason
will be responsible with it.
and we, from the very beginning, from the inception of this religion, and when it was first brought into the public light in 2005, it's all been about transparency and about being upfront and really establishing what it is that defines the tenets of this, and it's against all of those things that make religion dangerous and scary and controlling.
Remember,
So
you're a religion.
So we're just we can't stop that from happening, but the minute that it does, it's no longer Pastafarianism.
People want to get involved with your foundation, aside from just sending you money. How can they do that?
Sure, and we're not asking for people to send us money. I'll make that clear. There's no tithing in the Flying Spaghetti Monster in our religion here. That's goes against one of the 8 "I rather you didn't." So we're not asking for money. Down the road, we'll be asking for contributions to specific projects that we'd like to achieve. So
so not just give our church money. It might end up going to my own private jet, but give it for this specific thing.
Not. Sure, and I think that's a really distinctive a distinction between us and other more mainstream religions. And I'll also point out, I know some people aren't aware that on Kiva, the micro lending site, the Pastafarians, the Team Pasta on Kiva is the #1 top lending religious congregation. So we've donated over $2 million in charity. I have a colander on my head. What we do, our antics are just ridiculous, and we have so much fun. And I think a lot of people don't take us seriously, so that when I'm put in the spotlight and I'm asked to stand behind my beliefs, I do, and I do it passionately, and I do it with all sincerity, and it takes some of the fun out of it.
It's just the idea of like, I have to act serious. I've got a colander on my head. Okay. Well, okay. Let's actually get to know you then. Let's get to know Andrea.
Right.
What do you do when you're not when you're not dedicated to your church? What are your hobbies?
Well, sure. Well, I'm a videographer. And hobbies, I get outdoors as much as possible.
Yeah, we started this video outside, so I imagine.
Yeah, it starts off on the Blue Ridge Parkway, the very first scene of the Standard family.
Okay, so you said you're a videographer. How long have you done that? Are you like the kid that picked up the camera when they were 3 and just couldn't put it down?
I am, my entire life, and one day I'll send you my black-tailed prairie dog rap.
Okay.
And that will put me on my map. That will be my
We'll make that mandatory before we do a second interview.
Yeah, I'm a videographer, and a lot of that is what's inspired all of this. We realized that there really wasn't any good media content around Pastafarianism, and our community is growing and it's shining, and we really wanted to highlight that. So we got together with a team of volunteers, some really incredible filmmakers, and we produced the Standard Family, which is the very first Pastafarian public service announcement. Right. So we just had so much fun while we were doing it, and it was we received just accolades and overwhelmingly positive response, and this video has been shared in France and Italy and Australia and across the globe.
Oh geez, I gotta get this on my blog. I'm behind the curve.
It's really incredible, and I didn't really have a grasp on the scope of Pastafarianism internationally until we started connecting with all of these other groups that are um, just as passionate and just as inspired as we are. And it feels like humor is the universal language. So by being able to share these videos and the photos and the behind the scenes and the making of what it is to produce this content, I think has really elevated what we're doing as the Pasta Foundation to the next level. So my background in video and the co-founder Jonathan Robert, his background in nonprofit management and writing, together we just joined forces and we're doing something that's I think in a really creative, fun way able to affect the change that we want to see in the world.
Yeah, people always ask me
Which
like,
is all
what's the trick to like good activism? I'm like, man, it's like love. You can't force it to happen, but like when it's there, the chemistry is there. It just clicks. When you're with the right people, it just happens. And it sounds like you kind of got that going on.
well, totally. And rather than just standing on a street corner with picket signs, I think just by sharing these stories so people can get an insight into who we really are and what we believe and why, and do it in a way that's aesthetically pleasing and just fun and unique. I think these are the stories that are being shared here. And I think that people can relate to it. And even if it's something that doesn't meet their value system exactly, it's something that they still enjoy and that's a little more approachable than just saying that.
All right, so I met you at a PastaCon, and you were
Oh.
just you were extremely warm, and I don't think I saw you a moment when you weren't filming something or quote unquote working for reals. And
Mhm.
this seems to be your MO. You just kind of jumped onto the scene with this foundation, and you're hitting it 110%. Where does
Yeah.
this motivation come from? Why this way and not applying to work for American Atheists? Or why not running a blog? Why this method specifically? This seems to be
Mhm.
unique to you.
Well, I think that this is my comfort zone, producing the content to begin with. Apostacon was it was a really fascinating experience because we were scared stepping into it. We didn't know how we would be accepted as Pastafarians amongst that community. We were coming to shoot video and make connections. And this was my very first Free Thinkers conference that I ever attended. Our first public appearance actually was at Dragon Con, which is the East
Nice.
Coast answer to Comic Con
I've
that takes
spoken
place
there.
in
It's really
Atlanta every
nice.
year. It was incredible, and I'll just digress for a minute. Dragon Con, there is a team of Pastafarians. Teddy Fishman, who's actually the head of the Center for Academic Integrity at Clemson University, a brilliant, hilarious, kind-hearted woman. She has been appearing in the Dragon Con parade since 2006 as the Flying Spaghetti Monster, along with the
Yes.
band of pirates. It's just brilliant, and she goes every year. She stirs the pot in Atlanta and she walks the streets and in the spaghetti monster outfit. So we reached out to her because we wanted to film an interview, of course. And the first thing she did was invite us to be in the parade, which was my nerdgasm moment, to be in the Dragon Con parade as a Pastafarian with 60,000 fans cheering us on. And not to mention that we were directly in front of the Ghostbusters float. So it was just a surreal experience, marching to the Ghostbusters theme song in Dragon Con.
I'm
So
really
I
glad you
think,
talked about that. So many people think that activism is just work, and they don't realize that activism done right is fun that changes the world. And I think you've really hit on that.
sure, that's a really good point. And that was, we wanted to have fun with this, but we wanted to just really make an appearance and for people to see us and identify and ask questions, and they did, and a lot of people recognized us, and we were like our own cosplay celebrities there. And then a lot of people just were really curious, and it was a great way to we call it postalitize, because we don't really we don't believe in proselytizing. We're not trying to convert people to our religion. We just want to inform them that this is what we're doing and why, and then they can make their own assertions about it.
I've got great material about the Pastah Foundation, about Pastafarianism.
Yeah.
You're the head of the organization. I'm really interested in letting people get to know you, the person that's making all this happen.
Okay.
So
let's talk about me.
I actually asked this question when I interviewed James Woods, who's running for Congress out in Arizona. Have you ever been in love?
Yes.
Yes, talk about
Easy.
it. What is love to you? How many times?
Sure. Well,
if you're comfortable.
Love, yeah. No, yeah, I'm very comfortable because I'm very passionate about the love that I have with my partner Jonathan. That's been with me with this Pastah Foundation endeavor all along. I think love is something that is that's challenges every part of your being, that appeals to you emotionally, intellectually, physically, that it's something that just inspires you to be a better person and to be the best person that you can be, and not just for yourself, but for somebody else. I think it's that beyond unconditional, just that selfless spirit of being united with another person. That's love.
That's poetic. That could be a scripture right there, what you just said.
There's love for life and for being and for pursuits. There's a lot of different types of love.
Right on. When it's your time to meet the FSM, what do you want to be able to look back and say that you did? What's the most important thing?
That's a very good question.
Yeah, shit just got real on this interview.
Yeah, fuck the government. Shit just got real. We're talking about. Well,
you're the one who's going to change the government. We're interested in you here.
Yeah, I mean, when I am in Pastafarian heaven with beer volcanoes and free strippers, and I look back upon my life, I just want to know that I tried. That all of the efforts that could have been expelled towards doing the things that drive me were made, that I didn't give up. I think that's the most important thing, that I can push the boundaries within my own limits and I don't let anything stop me, whatever that may be or not be.
That's a fine quality in the head of a foundation.
Well, thank you.
What is your guilty pleasure?
Besides porn and masturbation?
I think porn and masturbation count.
But honestly, that's not a guilty pleasure. When I think of guilty pleasure, the first thing that comes to mind are cheesy pop songs and bad television.
Right. Is there any significance to your colander? Is this just a colander you grabbed off the shelf, or was this given to you by your mother? Is this one of 20 that you have? And thank you for wearing your Sunday best for this interview, by the way.
Of course, always. This is my statement here, and it's actually kind of my blankie. No, I searched far and wide for the perfect sized colander. I went to many kitchen and company stores and tried on many colanders. And I was certainly approached by many sales reps who questioned my acts and asked if I needed help. And I don't think they were implying sales help. But no, this colander, I really don't leave home without it. It fits me perfectly, has a nice glisten, and the noodles are just some added flair.
That is wonderful.
How does it look? What do you think?
Gorgeous, but it might just be the woman underneath of it. See that? Okay, this has been wonderful. Thank you for giving us a chance to get to know you. If you have a message out there for people who are trying to change the world and people just now getting into activism as you are, I'll let you sign off with any advice you might have for them. From the
Sure,
heart.
I'll just say
Straight
help us spread the
from the
message.
heart.
Wait, was that JT?
No, that was
No.
was that Brian Brian Adams? No, the Canadian government has apologized for Brian Adams on many occasions.
Busted.
Okay.
Just help get the word out there, spread the message, but do it with the purest of intents. Have fun, be joyous, and be yourselves, and just do the most that we can as a community and as a culture to share the word of the FSM.
Right on. Andrea,
And may the
thank you.
pesto be upon you, sauce be with you
Sauce be,
always.
and also with you. Andrea, thank you so much for coming on. This has been a lot of fun. And we'll catch you next time when you have that next announcement.
Very good. It was a pleasure. Ramen to you all.
Mwah.